It's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about mixed dentition cases with, specifically I'm going to talk about Invisalign today just because other aligner companies just don't quite have what it takes yet to be able to manage mixed dentition cases. I just strongly don't recommend doing other aligner companies with mixed dentition cases because teeth are coming in and out and they just don't have the, what do you call it? They don't have the features because they're still proprietary. They're IP that's owned by online technology to be able to manage these cases properly. It just never works out. That's just my own opinion, clinical opinion. Also, anytime I talk about Invisalign, I have to give this disclaimer that's required by my own legal team to prevent their own legal team from coming after me again. So this is my disclaimer. You can fast forward if you don't want to listen. I do not work for Align Technology, never have, never will, never taken a cent from them, or any other aligner company at the moment. So all my opinions are just clinical opinions from one orthodontist to whoever else is listening out there in the wonderful cyber world. I make these videos and I pay for them myself. Not to make a profit, although I may make a few cents from Google. It definitely does not even come close to covering my overhead. So I make these videos to help you guys because I feel like there's a serious lack of unbiased aligner education that's out there, and orthodontic education, high quality, comprehensive, airway friendly education. And I'm just trying to leave a positive thumbprint on my legacy for a lifetime. I do consulting for orthodontic cases, but you don't have to be a member of what I do in order to access these videos. They're completely separate. Anyways, okay, so this is my opinion. If you are a C-suite team member of Align Technology and you do not like this video or you disagree with what's in the content, please do not have your lawyers come after me. Instead, just have someone from the C-suite, not an admin person, not a territory manager, not a manager. It has to be top brass. Contact me directly. You know how to get a hold of me because you've done it before. Thank you. All right, on to the meat of the video. So let's talk about mixed dentition cases. Like I said, I only recommend Invisalign, and you guys know I've actually had a few doctors ask me if I'm getting commission from Align Technology for making these videos, which was horrific and embarrassing. And I was like, no. I'm sure I've sent them a ton of referrals just inadvertently, but I don't reap any benefits. Never has Align promoted me, thanked me, or anything like that. So I just honestly think it is for a difficult case, for a mixed dentition case, for an Invisalign, more challenging Invisalign first case, for a perio case, for a lot of reasons, it is probably the superior aligner company for a challenging case. Now, for a simple case, and if you want to know more about that, there are many other brands that will do just as well for half the lab fee. So, and if you want suggestions, I have a ton of content about it. You can search through my channel or you can contact me directly. Happy to refer you. You can probably pay 20 cents on the dollar by using, for a simple case, another aligner company, or if you don't have an iTero. Okay, so there's a difference. So most of the time, and you have to double check your preferences as well. And I do have a lot of content on Invisalign preferences. We also offer free, not free, but we include preference setups for Invisalign doctors. If you are a concierge or VIP member of Straightsmile Solutions, we can help you set up your preferences. But it has a lot of content on it, so you can just look at my content and probably figure it out yourself. It's not that hard. But depending on your preferences, you want to make sure that if at all possible that you're having teeth in a kid or a teen that's in mixed dentition erupting naturally. And I'm sure, I'm not a periodontist, but I'm sure most periodontists would agree with me that you don't want to force erupt with an attachment a tooth. Now, if it's stuck, different story. You've seen this, canine, this upper left 3, this number 11. It's been sitting in the same halfway erupted situation for a year, and you've been following up with x-rays. Okay, then we need to force erupt it. But there's no reason to rush things. Let nature take its course. It's better for the perio. It's better for the tooth. It's better for the root. That's just my experience, 20 years experience. And I'm sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure periodontists will agree with me. Unfortunately, most of the time, and a lot of this depends on your preferences, Invisalign will force erupt. So they're going to take a tooth that's only partially erupted and they're going to throw a big giant attachment on it, and they're going to yank it down, which I do not like because, weird things are going to happen to the gum line if you do that. And it could also devitalize the tooth. It's just if the apex isn't closed, I don't love that idea. I don't mind moving a tooth where the apex isn't closed, but I don't want to force erupt it either. So I would always prefer eruptive guidance Pontics, which are basically like a shell in the shape of the tooth. I mean, they don't know what the shape of the tooth is going to be based on the x-ray. And that's if you don't even submit an x-ray, they're just guessing. So it's sometimes, you're going to have this little shell or sometimes it's just a front shell and it's not a back shell and just allows the tooth to come in. But sometimes it's going to bang into it, and that's all right. If it does, then you know what? You do a refinement, which is another reason why you don't want to be doing light, moderate, GO, or anything in mixed dentition cases, or even Invisalign 3. You always want to do Invisalign 5, and you try again, and then they'll change the position of the shell. And then there's going to be a point where the tooth is just not going to erupt any further, and at that point, you can go ahead and put the attachment on and finish the job. But, if you're thinking about doing mixed dentition cases, you definitely want to make sure you have that iTero, because you're going to do multiple refinements, and you need to make sure your patient is prepared for the multiple refinements that are going to happen. Luckily, they're free. I think you might pay a tiny bit of shipping, but ultimately, that's just the way to go. Don't do this. Do this. And they're not going to give you this unless you ask for it. And unfortunately, sometimes, and I don't know the algorithm, but there's plenty of times where I'm like, why can't you do this? And they're like, no, sorry, our algorithm will only let you do this. I never know when it is and when it isn't. My suggestion is you can ask for an eruptive guidance Pontic if they're trying to force erupt. If they say no, which happens half the time, I mean, I never quite figured out which ones they will and which ones they won't, then you can always call. Most of the time when you call and schedule a meeting with their clinical team, which by the way can take time, you might have to email and call, set up an appointment. It's not something I can help you with. Most of the time, if you explain the why behind it, they will give you the Pontic. If they still won't do it, then you probably want to cancel the case. Never, ever, ever on funky cases, mixed dentition cases in growing kids, even difficult cases, don't take the money up front. Do the Clin Check first, work it up, make sure you're getting what you want to get before you take the money, because if somehow you can't do it yet, if you need to wait a few months to a year, 6 months, I don't want you to have to deal with giving a refund if you already started billing insurance and turning in the paperwork, and that's bad for business. So you know what? And there's nothing wrong. I know a lot of you guys are like, well, they want to give me the money. Well, don't take money on cases unless you're 100% sure you can treat them appropriately. Also, remember, if you're trying to do MA on an overjet patient, someone with a small lower jaw, most of the time they're not going to let you do this. So just keep that in mind. You have to have pretty much all your posterior teeth in, either baby teeth or permanent teeth. If you're in mixed dentition, teeth are coming in and out, they're usually going to reject you because they need retention. So keep that in mind as well. All right, thanks so much.